Okay. Don't go inside the van.
Oh my gosh, 10 times better than I imagined. Remember like me climbing up under there to get to that second bin? This is amazing. So the extra water tank is back here.
You can lift that up, but the water tank is right in the middle.
I'm so happy right now, and I'm gonna have so much fun just like moving everything back in here. Hello and welcome to my channel, Becoming Bev. First of all, I want to give Larry and his family a huge thank you for creating an event around giving me my van back. You know, not just, you know, here's your van and here's the keys, but they went all out. Disco lights, music, his entire family was there, his wife, his children, his in-laws, some of the friends. It really meant a lot to me. Thank you, Larry, for doing that. His attention to detail and his ingenuity are so over the top, and you're going to see that when we go through this build piece by piece. If you're interested in more of the technical aspects or the details of the build, head over to Larry's channel, Ramblin' Man Conversions. I spent a couple of days moving back into the van. I was a little bit frazzled putting everything away and finding new places and getting it all organized. And then when I moved the bedding in, I had to stop for a minute and pause. And I really felt like at that point I got my home back. The changes in this build include a brand new kitchen cabinet, an induction stove top, more battery power, a 200 amp inverter, lots and lots of drawers. I didn't have any drawers before, so that's a huge upgrade for me. And Larry had a few surprises in the van for me. A couple of lights strategically placed, lots and lots of USB ports, and more convenient plugins. Today, Larry and I are going to show you around the van. I'm going to let him talk about the more technical parts of this rebuild, and then I'm going to show you some of the more aesthetic parts of it. Yep.
All right, let's open it up and take a look. Change right off the bat is the kitchen cabinet. The old cabinet that you had, it did have a sink, it had running water, it served the same purpose, it fit in the same spot. This is exactly the same size as the other one. We've got 110 volt power off the inverter. So first thing is just little things I wanted to add. I added a light down here that's kind of like a night light. And when you get up in the evening, and say you're stealth camping or something and you don't really want to announce to the world that you're there, you can flip that on and it'll give you enough light to get around and find something. This is running off the inverter, so that's 110 volt power, but it's also more USB when the inverter's on. So the inverter draws power even if you're not using it. If it's, you know, you've stopped cooking or whatever, it still kind of sucks up a little of power. So you want to, you know, turn this on and off. You had previously used those gold trays for additional countertop, and we wanted something fixed a little bit better. Plus, I wanted to hide the stove, the induction cooktop. So this was your idea, but look how that worked. So this is the back side of the cabinet, and behind this panel, it's removable with 6 screws, are 2 water pumps. I told you that I was putting 2 water pumps in here, and here's the reason. We've got one water pump that's going to run the sink and is taking 10 gallons of water underneath the bed for drinking and cooking. Having a shower was one of your big needs. That's the other thing we talked about in addition to the drawers. There's another water pump here that can take water out of a sun shower, one of those solar bags, out of a bucket of water. However you want to take some water and heat it up, you just put this pipe in it. Here's a water pump right here. So this is just a quick disconnect. You'll hit this pump right here, and then you'll have a lot of water pressure. You can take a shower. Heck, you could even wash off muddy boots and things like that after you've been in the river. This is the water fill and vent for the 10 gallons that's under the bed. We have a battery switch here so that when you're mooch stocking, there's a battery charger built into the van over in the back corner. That was already there as part of one of the other conversions, and when it's on, every time you drive, the alternator's charging the battery. I built a little bracket to hold 2 little LED lights.
See, I didn't know about that.
Right here is all of your fuses, and there's just a little cover that comes off, and I do owe you labels on here so you know what they are, but all of your fuse and 12 volt is right there. Here is a dedicated cigarette lighter jack right here on the other side for your refrigerator, because you had mentioned that you're always switching your refrigerator from your power strip to your cigarette lighter. You're wearing out the plug, you're worried about it. You can plug it in here and never move it again. Everything we just talked about, all of that is all in that one cabinet. So the bed platform starts and goes from here back. So this little section right here is all of your main house power, all of the plumbing, things like that. You never really need to get into that area unless you have an issue. You're going to be able to unscrew this panel right here and access all of the utilities. But there's no fuses in there to mess with. There's nothing to deal with because the inverter's got a remote on-off that we showed you on the other side. You've already filled this up with a significant amount of storage. That's probably 15 inches wide, 12 inches tall, and goes back about 2 feet. At every door, I put solar. And I thought that was important because you don't know which side the sun's on. So, you know, the cord on the Jackery or the solar panel is only so long. You can plug it in here, you can plug it in the back door, you can plug it in the other door. So the bed platform is really the same height that it always was. It was the same width, but it's significantly different now. So you always had a camp table, but it was difficult to get to because it was buried in with other things. So now there's a dedicated shelf that's the only thing that goes there, so it's easy to get to. We left you plenty of room for chairs. You've got hiking boots, other things.
I also have my car jack up under there.
Oh, yeah, good, good. And there's a hole cut right here so that you can still access that other 12 volt panel, because a lot of your other lights from the previous conversion are run off of this panel and these fuses. This is like the biggest drawer I've ever built. Storing the solar panel was just an issue, is how to do that creatively so that we didn't waste space and so you could get to it. So I just built this small little shelf and rail right here, so it just sits on top of everything else. It's kind of like a little lid, and it's easy to get to. Oh, those are nice.
They are nice.
The part that you can't see, the part that's covered up, is roughly 18 inches across the middle of the bed. So it was too far from the back to get to, too far from the front to get to. That was a perfect spot for the battery. That was a perfect spot for the water. Everything is really kind of in the middle right there between the wheel wells. There's nothing hooked up to the battery other than the battery charger. So if the car's not running, the van can't suck any power off of this battery and leave you stranded, which I think is very important. I've added one thing. This is really a safety device. There's a circuit breaker right here. So if you see that little yellow flag on there, the breaker is popped. And that could mean that the wire chafed somewhere, it got hot, some reason, you know, the breaker was blown. And that's the one to keep from you burning down your van. You know, you don't want these power cables shorting out arcing on the van and all that other stuff. So, you know, that's how you check if this is blown. It's also a way that if you need to disconnect it, so that if you want to work on it, you can just press that red button and disconnect the power. And then you can go undo the plugs and everything else. I want it to look exactly the way you had it, because the appearance of it was ideal. It fit you, the bedspread, it was your personality. We didn't want to mess with that. I mean, it was your home. Basically, from the bedspread down, we changed everything.
Everything. I love all the drawers that Larry put in the van. I didn't have any drawers before, not one single drawer. I had these flimsy under the bed plastic containers that I kept my clothes in, and it was a bit of a wrestling match with them sometimes to get them tucked back under the bed. They were so flimsy. Larry put sliders with locking devices on the drawers because he didn't want them sliding out or moving forward as I was driving. They had these little blue knobs on them, and of course one of the first things I did was bling out the knobs. Those bright blue handles didn't go with the van at all. I can't tell you how happy I am to be reunited with my van. I leave Houston on Monday. My friend Barbie and I are headed to a van rally in Missouri, so I'm kind of excited about that. You'll get to see Barbie probably in my next video, and also she bought a van and Larry is going to be doing her build. So you can check that out on his channel, and I'll probably pop in from time to time to check on them. I also want to say Larry and I are very different people.
All right, so I made some assumptions,
Okay.
and kind of just want to go through them, because a while ago when you picked up your keys, I saw the difference between you and me. I mean,
All right, let me get the keys and just show you. So the keychain, first of all, was a gift from Angelina, first of all. And I love not having to dig for my keys. They're super accessible. And I'll show you what Larry is talking about.
So throw that up here.
This is my keychain.
So we're different people.
It's got my tape measure on there, you know, my little kitty cat tape measure.
But these are my keys. So obviously the way...
I've got my mace on here, you know, and I never have to look.
And then
for my
what is
keys.
this? Is this Sasquatch?
I don't
What
know.
is that?
Shut up. Apparently I have a little bunny thing going on in the van. I told you it was a gift from Angelina.
Right. So...
Yeah, so I never have to look for my keys. They're pretty easy to find.
Right. So I don't want to make assumptions of how I would use the van. I want to make sure it works for you, because obviously you and I are not the same person.
Got it. Well, Larry is very much a perfectionist and very precision oriented, and I'm not. I just kind of fly through life by the seat of my pants, and a lot of things I'm like, that's good enough. So he and I are very opposite on that end, and I want to thank him for being who he is and the attention to detail that he gave my van. And also he was very present to me and my personality during this build and what I would want to have in here. I'm also reunited with my bunny hat. I bought this hat in the winter time to help me keep my head warm, and I love ending my videos with it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. You keep watching and I'll keep posting content, and we'll see you next time. I don't know why, but this hat cracks me up every single time.